They were the most feared pilots the Nazi army ever faced, but no one believed they were women. Their planes were fragile, yet German soldiers said they sounded like broomsticks flying through the sky. That's how they earned their legendary name, the Night Witches. Before we begin this unbelievable true story, subscribe now for more epic historical stories. New videos every day. The year was 1941, and the Soviet Union was being crushed by the German invasion. Cities were burning, families separated. Every able person, men and women, wanted to fight back. Among them was Marina Raskova, the Soviet Amelia Earhart. She had flown record-breaking distances, survived impossible routes, and become a national symbol. When the war began, thousands of women wrote to her begging to join the fight. The men in the military laughed. Women in combat? Impossible. But Marina Raskova pushed until she got what she wanted: permission to form the first all-female combat aviation regiments in world history. One of them would become the most terrifying night attack squadron the world had ever seen, the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. These women were teenagers, students, farmers, nurses, most of them barely 20 years old. They left behind school books, families, and dreams, trading everything for flight training. But the military gave them almost nothing. No proper uniforms, oversized boots, men's jackets cut down with scissors. And worst of all, outdated wooden biplanes left over from crop dusting. These tiny planes flew so slowly that even a beginner pilot could shoot them down. But the women did not complain. They turned their weakness into their greatest weapon. A wooden plane made almost no engine sound when gliding. At night, the women would cut the engines mid-air and drift silently over German camps like ghosts. Soldiers on the ground would look up, hearing only a faint whooshing sound, like someone sweeping the sky with an invisible broom. Moments later, bombs rained down from the darkness. The Germans were terrified. They said these women were not human. They must be witches. And so the name spread across the front lines. Nachwechseln, the Night Witches. The women were trained to fly 8, 10, sometimes 15 missions per night. They had no parachutes early in the war, no radios, no armor. Wind sliced through their open cockpits at freezing temperatures. The moment a searchlight hit their plane, they had to dive or die. But they learned to outsmart the Germans. One plane would lure the searchlights. Another would sneak in low. A third would drop bombs while everyone was distracted. They worked in perfect formation, like dancers in the sky. Every mission could be their last. And yet they laughed, braided each other's hair, wrote letters home, and patched their planes with fabric and hope. They flew so many missions the engines wore out constantly. The mechanics, also women, worked with bare hands in freezing weather, fixing planes through the night with almost no tools. But every night the Night Witches returned to the sky. One of the most fearless pilots was Nadezhda Popova. On a single night she flew 18 missions, dodging bullets, diving into darkness, returning to refuel and taking off again. When asked if she ever felt fear, she answered, "Of course. But more than fear, I felt anger. They invaded our home, and we would not stop. The Germans hated them so much that any soldier who shot down a night witch automatically earned the Iron Cross. But shooting them down wasn't easy. Their slow speed made them almost impossible to target. Fighter planes would overshoot them. Advanced German aircraft couldn't turn sharply enough to match their movements. The witches used this to their advantage. slipping through the night using techniques no traditional army had ever trained for. But the cost of their courage was heavy. Many were killed by searchlights, flak cannons, crashes, and weather. If a plane went down in enemy territory, survival was slim. The survivors mourned, cried, then returned to their planes the very same night. Their country depended on them, and they never quit. As the war dragged on, their legend grew. Their bombs destroyed supply depots, ammunition stores, rail lines, command posts, and German morale. Commanders wrote in panic-filled reports that these witches seemed endless, indestructible, impossible. One German soldier wrote, "They dropped death from the sky wrapped in silence." By 1945, the Night Witches had flown over 30,000 combat missions, dropping more than 23,000 tons of bombs. No other unit in the Soviet Air Force, male or female, flew as many missions, ever. Yet after the war, they were almost forgotten. Their achievements were overshadowed, ignored, even dismissed by Soviet officials. They were given no new planes, no special honors, no heroes' welcome. Many returned home to poverty, rebuilding their lives quietly. But history has not forgotten them, and today their story is celebrated around the world. The Night Witches proved that courage has no gender, determination has no limits, and bravery does not always come with the best equipment. Sometimes it comes wrapped in wood, canvas, darkness, and unbreakable will of young women who refused to surrender. If you love this story, subscribe now, like the video, share it with someone who loves history, and comment below which legendary figure you want next. Watch more powerful historical stories from our playlist.